This will be nice.
I'd like that. It's going to drop tomorrow and to like 20 degrees here. So it's going to be more livable for me. So.
Yeah, because I drive a Jeep and right now I have the top up on it because I just had to put a new top on it and it's not done. They got to put some straps or something on it, but I have the doors off and it felt so good today. I was like, oh, thank you. It's not like a sweat box. All right, there's that. Nope. There's that. One more thing. Post. All right. Ooh, and the new athletic director at our high school said, thank you. Very good. All right. Oh, let me mute my phone. My dad will call for sure. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I should.
Problem is my dad gets through because he's on my hot list that gets do not disturb. And I've only been doing podcasts every Wednesday night for 18 years.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
He still calls. He's like, oh, you're doing a podcast? Yeah, I've been doing a podcast every Wednesday night at 6:00
that's my thing, Dad.
Yeah, since your granddaughter was born, she's gonna be a senior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats on that, by the way. That's so great.
Dude. Tonight she actually went to dinner with us tonight, so we're excited, and like she's talking about senior pictures and going to Ole Miss or Tennessee or Missouri. I'm like, let me eat my fajitas. Stop. Fajitas give me heartburn as it is. I don't need all that. We just have like maybe a couple more weeks before we get into this. Like,
how
about
that's so great though. That's so great.
I know, it's like I'm 25. Like, you can't be like a senior. Stop.
Totally right. I don't have kids, but like I have niece and coming a niece or nephew, and it's like I can already tell she's like 2, and I'm already like, what happened? What's happening? How are you growing so fast?
It goes so fast. I mean, I got my oldest is 28, so I mean, I've done this already, but it's lightning. All right, let's see. So here we go. 27, 25. Holy smoke. All right. Welcome to episode 2725 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you're having a great week already. We're going to have a good time here over the next 45 minutes or so, taking a virtual trip down to Walt Disney World with a bonus side excursion that I'm really excited about. We're gonna step off property because I gotta just hear the story. I see it in the notes and it intrigues me more than it should, because I think I might have to do this sometime. Probably not a good idea, but I think I might have to do this sometime. So today, I just hope you're doing well. Of course, we're back from the Be Our Guest podcast cruise. Lots of stories will be told here in the weeks to come. But until then, we're headed up to Canada with a great guest, and Taylor's joining us. Taylor, happy Monday to you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for coming on the show with us. So what part of Canada are you joining us from?
I'm in Alberta, and I live in the city of Edmonton. So it's quite far north in terms of provincial capital cities. It is the furthest northern capital city in the country.
See, look at that. We can tag this show educational already.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
I appreciate that. That's awesome.
A little bit of geography for everybody. Yeah.
Former teacher. Love that. That's amazing. So we were talking in the pre-show, and this kind of intrigued me because, I'm here right in the dead center of the United States in Missouri. But for folks that don't know, we have listeners all around the world, Australia, Japan. We have a lot of folks in England. You guys get the extremes over there because as we're recording, you said your temperature is about 95 Fahrenheit right now.
Yes.
And of course, Canadian winters are brutal. So tell us a little bit about that, because that intrigues me. I think it might be interesting to our listeners.
Just like any other conversation starts with talking about the weather, right?
100%. I'm the old man talk. Here we go.
Yeah. No, I'm into it. And it's often like when we go down to the States. So I go to Disneyland quite often because I'm more on the west coast of Canada. So people think west coast, they think Vancouver. That's like literally on the ocean. So that's as far west as you get. I'm one province in the middle of that province, a little higher north. So when we go down to the States, one of the things that we always lead with when talking is like, they're like, oh, it's a little cold here. And we're like, man, this is great. We just left, minus 35 degrees Celsius, which is like minus 31 in Fahrenheit. And it was like, we just left that. And, people will ask us, like when we were at Disney World, we ran into these ladies at the Italy pavilion, and they were talking us up, and then we told them where we were. And then like, well, what happens like when it's that cold? Does like the city shut down? It's like, no, you get up and you go to work. Like it's
school's not canceled, right? I mean,
it'll only get canceled if if it snows a lot and like the buses can't safely transport the kids. And if it's really, really, really cold, like we're talking like minus 40, which is where we equal out, which is minus 40 for us is also minus 40 for you. If it gets in like that range, then they start talking about canceling schools, but it's got to be like that for like a few days. It's like one day of that, and it's like everybody tough it out. But multiple days of that, then it's like they shut it down. And now with how much people did homeschool and stuff like that and online school, I think it's a little easier for schools to adapt. But yeah, it's definitely something I lead with, and like just to jump into some stuff, like when I went down to do the Disneyland half in 2024, and I was down there, and I woke up and it's like 14 degrees Celsius outside, and I was in heaven because it was perfect running weather, and all of the Americans are like, it is freezing outside, and I was in my shorts and my t-shirt, and I'm like, this is great. This is like exactly the type of weather I want to be running in. It's just perfect for me because when I left, I was not able to run outside. It's too cold. Like I'll go to like minus 15 about, and at that point it gets too cold for the air coming into your body to actually like sustain yourself on a run. But like minus 15 is doable, but even then some people won't even do that. So
everybody's asking their digital assistant, please convert Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because we don't. I'm telling you, like my comfortable temperature is about 42 degrees Fahrenheit. That's where I like running between like 42 and 45. That's if I'm going for a half marathon. I know that's kind of chilly for a lot of folks, but once I get going, that's my jam. Like I like.
So you said like 45. So 13 45. Degrees, which is what it was in 2024 to start the half, is 55 degrees Fahrenheit, and then my minus 5 is 5 degrees Fahrenheit is when minus 15 is 5 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like the coldest I'll run at.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, let's talk about that real quick. I was going to kind of leave that to the end, but you ran the 2024 half marathon out of Disneyland. That's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about a split trip down to Walt Disney World. But what was that experience like for you out at Disneyland? Because I ran that race weekend. That was my first one out at Disneyland too. It was yours, right?
It was my first run Disney and my first half marathon. I kind of like had set this goal like pretty shortly after, the world was opening back up, that I was like, I think I want to run a race. I think I'd like to, because I was like into jogging and like got more into it, when, during the heat of the pandemic and everything. And I really enjoyed it. And I was like, maybe I should get out there and try like a legit runs. And I'm a huge Disney fan and a Disneyland fan. And, during the pandemic, really missed Disneyland. And that's the park I would say I most adore. And I really wanted to get down there. So the Run Disney opened. I was literally like on my way to a dental appointment and in the waiting line on my phone, and managed to get in and get a spot. And then, I went down there. It was really, really cool. I went by myself, which is something I would not recommend for everyone for their first half marathon. Yep. Don't go to another country and go by yourself. It just really existential kind of feelings and stuff of like, oh, like, what does this mean for my life? And like, was really anxious like that the night before. Right. And no one to kind of talk me down. Luckily, my mom was super awesome and did talk me down. And the race was great. I mean, I liked running through the parks. Obviously I took my sweet time, and I'd say that's where I was like the slowest, was as I went through the parks. Like I was not happy with my pace at all. But once we got out of the parks and we were, as I've said before, in industrial Anaheim,
Yes.
running past warehouses where all the band plays in front of it. Like that, then I like caught more of my pace as there was a little more space and stuff like that. And, you know, ran past the Honda Center and put my thumb down because I'm an Oilers. Yeah, I'm an Oilers fan. Booted the Ducks. So yeah, it was really amazing and really special. It was when I crossed the finish line, I got my medal, and you know, in the little plastic or whatever, and I just like, it was like such an accomplishment for me because I've been training for so long. I like went up to this cast member and was just like, "Would you mind like putting this on me?"
I do the same thing. The first thing I do is I take my teeth and I rip the plastic off of it, and then I hand it to somebody else. Can you throw that on me?
Yeah,
that's the experience, right? It's like the Olympic experience kind of.
Yeah. And they put it on me with big hug, and it was just like it was so great. And then on my way back, I ran into two really great ladies. I think they were both from Vegas, and we just like got chatting, and it was just like such a good vibe. And like that day, I went back to my hotel room. I just like hung out. I FaceTime my partner. I talked to my mom, and it just like it became and turned into like the best day of my life because I was just so freed from this intense thing that I had trained so long for. And then I was also in Disneyland, which is like my favorite place in the world. And it just was like this. I didn't even really go on any rides. I just kind of walked around. I ate so much food.
Oh my
God. and just like enjoyed the ambiance of the parks. And, you know, I was pushed it all the way to the fireworks at the end of the night and saw these two ladies who are from Toronto, and they'd done a bunch of Run Disney events. And I was like, yeah, it was my first half marathon. They're like, you're still standing? How are you still standing? I was like, I have to make it through.
Adrenaline. It's a drug. It's a great natural drug.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah. And then like, yeah, that was really great. And then like, I took a day off, and then a really good friend of mine who'd never been to Disneyland showed up 2 days later or a day later. And we spent 2 days exploring the parks and then flew back to Edmonton.
And that's such a great, you said it so well, because that is the experience, right? I mean, you go through the gamut. I mean, you have anxiety, you have, I mean, just the ultimate high when you cross the line, you have excitement when you run through the parks because you see them in a different way. You know, it's one thing to experience them as a day guest, to walk through, to, you know, to go from attraction to attraction, to get to see shows. But when you're running through, it's almost like you are on stage for a brief moment, right? You're kind of the center. You are the show for a brief moment because you're going down Main Street and people are cheering for you. And it is because the thing too is you're bringing those cold mornings where you ran back in Canada. I'm bringing, you know, all the stupid mornings at 5:12 in the morning that I've been on the treadmill, you know, and I'm all that work that I put in to get there. That's your celebration. And I think that's what makes those kind of race moments special, right? I mean, I think it's a culmination of the whole thing. Like you go through the gamut and then you get that 3 hours of celebration. That's what makes it all special. Is that kind of how you felt during the whole thing? Oh, I think I lost him.
Yeah. I lost you for a bit there.
Okay, gotcha.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back. Go ahead.
So sorry about that. Yeah, I did think about that, and just wanted to go back to one of your earlier points there about like running through and feeling like you're on stage. What I tried to do is I tried to like find spaces where there was no one and take a photo, just because I thought it was so cool to see the park with no one in it. So I took a bunch of photos of like, wow, there's no one down this way, I'm going to take a photo. There's no one down this way, I'm going to take a photo. And that was just like so cool. And just like, yeah, the people cheering as I came through, I'm like high-fiving people as I'm running into the finish line. And like, I don't know any of these people, they don't know me. And it's just, it surprised me, you know, like how supportive everyone is and how like the community there comes out too. You know, there were people with like really great signs encouraging people and making me laugh. And that was, yeah, it was really, really special.
Actually signed up for a charity this year going for the half marathon weekend this coming season out of Disneyland, because these ladies were there with this charity and they high-fived me every race because I did the 5K, the 10K, and the half. And they were like, I ran the 5K, I always run in a hot dog costume because I'm kind of an idiot and I do that I don't know why.
No, that's cool. Don't let anyone tell you.
I don't even know why I did that a few years ago, but I did. And so it's like the thing now, all of a sudden I'm the hot dog guy. So, but they gave me like a high five. So I saw them at the 5, saw them at the 10, saw them at the half. They cheered me on. And one of them, I think, was from St. Louis. So we got to chatting it up. And so I just wanted to get a bib, charity bib. So I'm like, I went with their charity. So like now they're my crew. So it's funny how though strangers do cheer for you, high five, and you get that brief moment with them. But well said. And that is kind of why I like Disneyland, because I don't mind. Some people like say this is bad, but the half marathon out there, I don't mind running the streets. Like you get the combo because I like running roads. Like I love the park. Don't get me wrong. That's kind of the best part. You're running both parks, getting a lot of pictures and stuff in there. But I do like that eventually you do get to get out on the road and kind of open it up, spread out, and you're not on top of each other the whole time.
Well, not to dwell on this, but like the corridors in Disneyland and DCA, they're really tight. So it's not ideal for thousands of people running through them, right? So it's better when you get out onto the street and you actually have more room. It's like becomes more of a race. Whereas that's why I said like my time going through Disneyland and DCA, I was being really conservative to start. It was my first half and I wanted to be conservative to start because I didn't want to gas myself. So yeah, it was nice once it opened up. I just wanted to say, don't let anyone tell you that the hot dog costume is not cool, because it is 100% cool.
Okay. I'll go with it. At least one more season. We'll keep it out of mothballs. All right.
So you're inspiring me. Maybe I need to do a race in a hot dog costume too. So
or a hamburger or some other snack food. I don't know what you got in Canada. We got like a Molson or something.
Yeah. The hot dogs are big. We like hot dogs here.
There we go. All right. So let's talk about the trip down to Walt Disney World though. So you did a split, Bay Lake Tower and Coronado. So how'd this trip come together? Like what, I just thought about it and put it together.
So, my girlfriend and I have been together, coming up on 2 years, and it was my 40th birthday coming up. And I was like, I want to do something special for my 40th. And I've always wanted to be in a Disney park on my birthday. And I was like, what's better than, splurging and finally going to Disney World for the 40th birthday. And my girlfriend's birthday is actually 2 days after mine. So basically it was like, we're going down. She's not 40, and honey, you're not 40 years old. Don't worry. But it was our birthdays kind of back to back, and it was just like an idea, and it just kind of stuck, and we went down, and it kind of came about really kind of organically in a way, but also very purposefully in terms of I'm a big planner, and like that's where we get into the trip details of like I'm big planner when I go down to Disneyland. I have my routine, I have my way I like to do things down there, and everyone kind of, and as you know, doing what you do, everyone kind of has their process. So I was kind of going in somewhat blind for World because I knew it was bigger, and I knew it required a little bit more planning and a little bit more kind of expertise. So, listening to your show, listening to or watching YouTube videos, just really, really taking it all in. I mean, I was kind of doing that anyway. I'm always paying attention to the different podcasts and different YouTube channels that are talking about the park stuff. I'm pretty up to date on everything. So I got more invested in the Disney World stuff to get prepped. So that's kind of how it came about. And yeah, we went in late February of 2025. We came back on the very first week of March. So we left on a Saturday and we came back on a Sunday. So just over 7 days of a trip.
Very cool. So I'm always curious about this because, at World, you have so many options for where you can stay. And especially for somebody that is, like for myself, I've stayed at everywhere except the cabins at this point. So where I stay, it's usually because it's my favorite places, or it's because of a specific purpose. It's a Run Disney weekend, or it's, we're going on a cruise, so I want to stay somewhere that looks tropical, or it's something dumb like that. But when somebody's going down for one of their first trips, I'm always curious, like, why did you pick that resort? Like, what, I'm always like, what drew you there? Was it a vlog that like, man, I saw that and like, that's my jam, or it seems like it's a good value, or, I like the location, or so you picked two. You picked Bay Lake Tower and Coronado, but out of the 22 or so resorts, what drew you to those?
Great question. So I've always wanted to stay at the Contemporary. Since I've been a Disney fan, the Contemporary's been like the white whale in terms of like a place to go see, just because of its historical significance with the opening of the of Magic Kingdom and Disney World itself. I really wanted to stay there, and I really wanted to see the monorail. I love the kinetic energy of like trains moving in the parks themselves, different things moving all simultaneously. I really, really enjoy that. So the Contemporary is always, even as a kid, I was just like, where is this hotel? What is that train going in and out? It's so wild. Right. So I always wanted to stay there. So I was kind of looking around, and a friend of a friend, we were having dinner, and she's a big Disney parks person. And she was telling me about like the point rental places. So kind of looked on there, found Bay Lake was like pretty affordable with the rentals. So I went with that just because it was the Contemporary, and I only wanted to do a few days, and I knew I wanted to do a deluxe hotel, wanted to try that. And then we actually booked Pop Century originally because we were just, stayed at value, stayed at deluxe, kind of filled that out. And then that was like, I would say we booked that in like July. So probably about a year ago from now. And then the Canada residence deal came out in September of 2024. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at those, and I called up I was trying to upgrade my room at Pop Century. And while I was talking to the agent, they were like, what do you like about it? And I talked about, I like that it's got a Skyliner, and it looks like it's close and easy to get to all the parks. And he said, it's like, and I was like, I'm looking for something, like, I would like to find something a little more, like adults. We like the Disney theming, but we don't need it everywhere we go.
Right.
And he said, well, I love Coronado, and I love the Destino Tower. And then I saw the picture, and I was like, that looks really nice.
Me too.
And with the and this is how they get you, right? I mean, and with the discount, the Canadian resident discount, it was like pretty comparable. Right. No, I mean, it was more, but it was close. It wasn't that much more. And and I was just like, sure, yeah, let's book that. So we ended up at the Gran Destino. And the more research I did on Gran Destino, I was like, yes, this is the place for me.
I do this for a living. You made the right call. I love Pop Century. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but there is a big difference between the tower at Coronado and Pop Century. Mm-hmm. Seriously, because the tower is almost a deluxe hotel. I mean,
yeah, the room was huge. It's so big. Like going from there to Bay Lake. I mean, Bay Lake is nice. It's cool. It's retro. We had one of the non-renovated rooms, which I was a little disappointed about, but it was what it was. And we had an amazing view. We were in the center of the tower, like 14th floor, looking out over the water. It was stunning. But at Coronado, you got this big room. It's like, feels like this brand new hotel, which it essentially is. And it was so perfect. And the walking trail around Coronado, because that's my jam. I like to get up in the morning, go for a walk, have my coffee, maybe jog a little bit. I was dealing with a knee injury at the time, so I wasn't doing a lot of that, but like just getting the walk in and having a cup of coffee, it was just like, it was so perfect. And I would absolutely go back there again.
Oh my God. It's the official hotel of the Be Our Guest Discord, by the way. We always talk about that over in the clubhouse. Everybody stays there. We love it. I mean, because it does have everything kind of for everybody. It's got great dining. It's got a great pool, the dig site. Like you said, that walking path around the lagoon. It's just, especially at sunrise. I mean, I bet you I've run over 100 miles around that in the course of my lifetime. Besides the times I've run on the treadmills, I've run outside there back before I used to hit the treadmills all the time. But anyway, so let's real quick on Bay Lake Tower though. You said it wasn't, I mean, you said it was beautiful view, but the room wasn't renovated. So, I mean, you mentioned that it was kind of like a childhood dream to stay at the Contemporary. I got to stay there just not too long ago for the very first time, just a few weeks back, about a month ago at this point. And I was only in the garden wing. So I was kind of like opposite you, right? You were Bay Lake Tower. I was in garden wing. So neither one of us were like in the main tower, but I loved it, man. Walking over to the Magic Kingdom and just the historic feel, right? I felt like I was kind of a piece of history there and in the convenience of it all. What was your overall jam every couple nights over at Bay Lake?
I think I'm having some connection issues. If it's on my end, I'm really sorry about that.
That's fine. I can edit it out. Just go ahead.
Are you hearing me coming through okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I heard your question. So I'll take it again here. I really enjoyed the land, like the area around the Contemporary. it just felt really entrenched in. Like Disney's really good, even with its newer properties. Things feel like they've existed there for a while, but there's something particular about the contemporary that makes it feel like it's been there for a long time. And I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. I also love like Steakhouse 71 having all the giant, large photos of like when it's being built, the people working there. Like that's the kind of vibe I want. I'm really into the history of the parks as well as the parks themselves, and like going and having a good time and like riding Guardians of the Galaxy and like screaming my head off. I love all that. But I also love the rich history of the parks. And that's why I think like Disneyland in particular, not to always go back to Disneyland, I'm showing my cards here and how much I love it, but it's like a museum to me. It's like this place that has been and seen many different ideas and creative ideas. I always tell people, like, so I have friends, I'm a theater artist, and like as a side kind of hustle. And a lot of my friends ask, like, why do you like Disney so much? And for me, it's this mixture of art and commerce in a really complex way. And Imagineers create these immersive environments. And as a theater artist, that's kind of what we do too, is we try to create an immersive piece of art for people to experience. The bonus that Imagineers have is they have millions and billions of dollars to play with, right? So they're able to do something so extreme in the immersive experience landscape that as a theater artist, I can't deny how special that is and how excellent it is. So I'm not really answering your question. And
no, but
I've never thought about it.
Yeah, and I've never thought about it that way, but that is so well said. I mean, it is. I mean, it's so. I'm glad you said that, because it makes everybody kind of think about it like, wow, like when we're walking through these theme parks. I mean, like, right. I mean, you're immersed. We all know we're immersed in these lands, these experiences, but everything that goes into it, and there are tons of parallels to theater. I never thought about that.
Well, I just to like go into like the parks a little bit. Animal Kingdom for me really stuck out as this piece of art, and more so than the other parks. I love the other parks. Magic Kingdom, Epcot is like, I love Epcot. That place is my jam, 100%. I want to, like, people that live in Orlando and can just like go to Epcot for like a drink and like a snack. Right. Y'all got it so good. You have it so good. You don't even know. So when I go to Animal Kingdom and just the immersion that's there and all of the little trails and the places you can dive off and the pieces of rock that are fallen over, but they're set that way. They are purposefully built in that way, all to just like draw you further in. I mean, that's Joe Rohde, right? And his genius is just like being able to fully immerse you in this place and make you think that you're somewhere else. Like we went and did the treks, like the Gorilla Trek and the Maharaja Trek, and we did those walks and stuff. Didn't see a ton of animals. It was like kind of midday when you did it, but it was so quiet and so peaceful back there, and just like a totally different experience than, say, like in Pandora coming off of Flight of Passage or something like that. And it was such a special thing. And I didn't expect to be as wowed by Animal Kingdom as I was. Because, living up here, the videos you see, people are like, oh, yeah. For me, it was like a piece of art, and a piece of art that you could experience. I actually have a really cool story of what kind of our like magic moment of the trip, if you'd like me to share.
No, that's right. That's exactly where I was kind of transitioning into, just some of your highlights from the parks. I love hearing these. That's exactly what I want to hear about next. We've talked a little resorts. Now let's talk about fun times in the parks.
Yeah. So I think the biggest moment that sticks out for both my partner and I is we're artsy people. Like we both worked in the arts, and now we're doing different professional gigs that allow us the money to be able to travel and go to Disney World. That's how it is. But we are both from the arts originally. And so we love art. And we had heard that Tiffin's at Animal Kingdom has amazing art up in the restaurant. And we didn't get Tiffin's on our list of restaurants because we just weren't sure how our Animal Kingdom day was going to swing. So we kind of left that open. And then we were leaving the park and we're like, walking by Tiffin's as we exited Pandora, and we were like, you know, maybe we should just like stop by and see if we can just like look at the art. And we went up to the front, and there was a manager and our 2 cast members there. One of them was the manager. And we're just like, hey, we just were leaving. We know you guys are closed. Can we come in and just like look at the art? And the manager's eyes like lit up. And he was just like, of course, like, come on in. And we got this personal tour from Bill, the manager. So Bill, if you're out there, or if anyone sees Bill at the Animal King or at Tiffin's, like, tell Bill he's doing a great job, because we really liked him. And he took us around the whole restaurant, showed us all the art, talked about the stories of the art, talked about like the wood carvings, and that some of them are from Bali and some of them are made by the Imagineers, but they use the artist in Bali as the main reference point. Some of the art pieces explaining, you know, the conservation message behind them, or explaining that, you know, there's this piece in one of the rooms is supposed to represent like a fishing net in the water, and it's catching all these, it's got all these hands and kind of different things in it. The flags that people tie on the Tibetan bridges in Tibet and stuff like that. All these really beautiful stories, talking about like the tables and who carved the tables, showing us where Joe Brody likes to sit when he visits the lounge. And it was so good, and such a special moment for both of us, that when people ask us like what was the highlight of the trip, we always say that, because we're not on a ride. We didn't plan this. We just were like, hey, what if we looked at the art for a little bit? And it just was this amazing thing. Yeah.
Well, I love to hear that too, because it sounds like the excitement was in, what'd you say, Tim? Bill, sorry, Bill.
Yeah.
I mean, the excitement that he had for that, because, you know, all day he was probably just seating people that were just looking for a meal and maybe never looked up from their phones, right? They were just checking social media the whole time they were in there, and they're surrounded by this amazing art. And here you come in, and you weren't, you know, you didn't get a chance to have a meal, but you wanted to appreciate the environment that he's probably super excited to show every patron that goes into his restaurant, that 99% of the people never look up and appreciate. So he got to show off. You know, it'd be like me if somebody came in and wanted to see the podcast studio. Nobody cares. Like, my wife doesn't care about, she never walks into this room ever. It's in her house. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not stepped foot in this room in 6 months. Like, she would know. But like, if somebody wanted to come in, I'd be the proud papa. You know, that's like all those things. Like, I guarantee he's like, he went home that day and said, somebody came in and wanted to see the restaurant.
Yeah, we didn't even want to eat. We just wanted to see the art.
That was so cool.
We were going to go somewhere else for food.
It works both ways, though. And that's what I love to see. I mean, that's super cool. So give some more highlights, though, from your time.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, so a big thing was that the first day we were there was our Hollywood Studios day, and it rained all day. And that was like really, really tough for us, because, you know, it's your first day getting to travel the parks, and you're in the rain. And we did okay, but it was pretty tough. And my partner, she's not a huge ride person, but she was like committed to it with me. And, you know, she went on Slinky Dog, and that was maybe a little too much for her. She loved Rise of the Resistance, which is great. I'm glad she did. But it just rained all day, and it was kind of a really tough day. And we always do the rope drop and then go take a break and then come back later. That's like our process. For me, that's how I like to do the parks in California too. Go for rope drop, take a break, come back. It's just, it makes most sense to me, because you kind of get the best of both worlds, and you get to do the entrance twice, which when you're going onto Main Street, nothing better than the double entrance. Ooh, so good. But we left, and we were like kind of frustrated and wet and tired, and we're just like, we had to return the rental car and all this kind of stuff in between. And then we're like, man, I'm just hungry. Like, what do we do? And then we kind of were like trying to figure out what we would do. It's like, okay, well, there's this place, the Hollywood Brown Derby. Let's just try there. And so we got a reservation just kind of like spot on, which is amazing. Apparently people were like, oh my God, you just like got a random reservation. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
That's a signature restaurant.
Yeah, I know. We found this out later.
Yeah, it's not just like it's a counter.
So we go in, and it was like quiet. It was like right before the dinner rush. It was chill. Our server was super nice. And Sydney, my partner, sorry to out her name. I will anyway. It's fine. She has a lot of dietary restrictions. So like she's lactose intolerant. She celiac. No seafood like shellfish and stuff. Can't have soy. Can't have oat. Like really limited dietary restrictions. So this is our first experience of like the chef coming out and talking to us and going through an item with her that she was interested in and talking about what they could do. And we both wanted the Cobb salads because we wanted something fresh and we wanted something, and we didn't know, but they were the best Cobb salads I've ever had. Like,
and I see, I don't think obviously I don't think you know this. I mean, not to be mean or anything, but I mean, like, if you leave there without having the Cobb salad, the grapefruit cake, I think you get in trouble. They like an alarm goes off or so. I've never eaten there in my life because I don't know why. Maybe it's because it doesn't have a gimmick. Like I have to go to 50 Prime Time or Sci-Fi because, you know, they have like something, you know, either like you're at a drive-in or you're at like Mom's, you know, Brown Derby's just like old Hollywood. I don't know. That's not my
yeah,
thing.
we like the non-gimmick though. Like, and like, you know what I mean? Like we
I'm
like
American. I need something going on. I don't know. Who knows? I don't have the attention span. I'm so mad. But
if something's not flashing at me while I'm eating a burger, then
I don't know. And I don't like grapefruit. I never had the cake. So yeah, so I'm probably, and I'm not a big salad guy. You know, so I don't know. No, go ahead. Did you like it?
Yeah, no, that's hilarious though. It's like unless something's jamming into my face while I'm eating a cheeseburger, I just can't have a good meal. No, it was really great. It was super quiet, and yeah, the old Hollywood stuff. Like, I mean, nothing revolutionary there, but just like for us, just like personally, such a great meal. I want to toss out some shout outs to a couple things. I've never had Gideon's cookies. My God.
Yeah. I had those once.
Man. Oh man. That chocolate chip cookie, and I had like a coffee one that was on special. Oh, I couldn't believe it. Like you can't eat one. They're cake. They're not cookies. They're cake. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have those locally. That's all I got to say is like, I'm glad I have to travel 900 miles and spend a fortune to get a plane ticket to get those because dangerous.
Yes, agreed. Well, the same thing for my partner actually. So the Aaron McKenna's Bakery, which is like the kind of the gluten-free bakery in Disney Springs, they also had amazing stuff. And we made, I'm not rolling my eyes, I swear, 3 trips to this one bakery. In fact, there were several times where it was like, you should just like go back to the bakery, right? Like that was like, hey, we're doing this right now. And she's like, well, you know, we could swing by Disney Springs and go to the bakery again. And so sure enough, we did.
That's called vacation.
Yeah, totally.
I like it.
That was really great. I want to shout out Muppet 3D Vision because I think it deserves a shout out. I've never seen the film before. I'm a Muppets fan. I love the Muppets. And I know people were like, I'm always, because I'm up in Canada, right? I see people talking about things leaving, things going away. And I'm like, I don't know, like, sure, I guess. Like, I'm not really too upset. But Muppets 3D Vision is so great. It was such a great show. It was like such a highlight for us. So funny. So like, I mean, I can see why it's closing. There were like, it was a rainy day and there were like 20 people in there, you know, it's just not bringing the people in, even on a rainy day. So it's just like, that's not the best. The last thing I want to kind of highlight as a big thing is for my 40th birthday, I wanted to drink and eat around the world.
Oh my gosh. It's just like we've had second show in 3 weeks. We've had this brought up. Okay. So let's see, because we had a bachelorette party that did this and then went straight on Guardians, but go ahead. Let's see.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't imagine going on Guardians after eating and drinking that much. Oh my gosh. I'm one of those people that it's like, I time out my meal for when I'm going to go on a ride. So it's like, if I'm eating like an hour before I go on Guardians. Like I had my Regal Eagle burger like an hour and a half before I went, took my Dramamine like 45 minutes before I got on the ride. Like I am prepped.
I appreciate you as a fellow park guest. That's why our Canadian friends are that's why we love you, because you're polite like that. That's how we should all be doing it. I don't know if we should be drinking around the world and getting on Guardians. I don't ride Guardians, so who cares? But I'm saying if I did, I'd worry.
You know what? I got some tips for your listeners. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Just say,
Just drink around the world.
I think it turned out fine. I'm just saying, do it at your own risk. Okay, go ahead. So tell us about it. Those are.
Yeah, so we did eating and drinking around the world because there was no way I'm able to drink 11 drinks around the world. Like, man, I'm 40. I can't do that. I'm not doing it. So we started in Mexico and then we moved all the way around to Canada. My highlight of that is we really wanted to watch Luminous as well. So we started the tour around the world around 4 o'clock, I'd say. And by the time we got to Japan, it's like 7:15 because we were, stopping, you're getting in lines, you're stopping, chatting with people. That was where we had a great conversation with these ladies from the States that were blown away by how we live in the temperatures that we do, and showing them on a map where we live, and they're like, we didn't even know people lived up there.
Oh my God, giving Americans a bad name. Come on.
Just telling you what happened. I'm just telling you the experience.
They're not from Missouri.
No, they're not from Missouri. They were not from Missouri. Don't you worry.
We're from Kansas.
Yeah, I think they were from South Carolina, actually.
That works. That works.
Yeah. So we get to Japan, and I'm like, we're getting close to when cast members, when the videos have told me you gotta find your spot for the fireworks by this time. So we're getting close to when we should start thinking about finding our spot. And I'm like, I don't know, man, we got all these countries left. I don't know. So I send Sid to go get rolls at one of the restaurants in Japan. I go to Morocco to get sangria. Both of us splitting up and doing these things separately, terrible idea. She gets to the sushi place. It's loud, it's crazy in there, and she tries to order the spicy roll. It is not safe for her. So she doesn't want to not get me the thing that I want. So she gets me a full spicy roll for myself. Keep in mind, I've been eating and drinking all day, and she gets herself a vegetable roll. I, on the other hand, I'm in Morocco, and I go to the back to get the sangrias, right? The jug ones. You ever been back there where there's like the jug sangrias that they have back there?
I've been back there, but I've never gotten the sangrias, but yeah.
Okay. They're great. I took a sip of one, and then I had to return them because I took them and I took a sip. I was like, oh, that's really great. And I was like, is there like a fruit juice in there? And they're like, yeah. I was like, does it have pineapple in it? Sid's allergic to pineapple. Oh. And they're like, oh, and they called people and they're like, we can't confirm or say that it doesn't. Like, we cannot. So
safe, yeah,
exactly. So returned them. I go grab a different drink, and I come back and I meet Sid. She's got these 2 rolls, and I'm like, this is too much food. What are we gonna do? I've still got to eat fish and chips in the pavilion.
Yes, you do. I was gonna say, coming, and that's not small.
No, and so I was like, maybe we need to tap out. Maybe we need to tap out right here.
You're 3/4 of the way. Canadians are not quitters.
Sid is not a super fiery person, but she lit a fire that night.
Whoa.
She's like, we are finishing this. We are going all the way, and we're finishing. So sure enough, we finished this. I don't eat all the roll. I can't even remember what happened. We down this sangria together. We get over to France. We get over to Britain. We get over to Canada, and we did finish it. The Canadian Pavilion, I think it's my duty to talk a little bit about the Canadian Pavilion.
That's what I was going to say. Well, first, what'd you have in the Canadian Pavilion, and how do you feel about the Canadian? I think the Canadian Pavilions have better days, personally. Like back when they had Off Kilter, they had a band there that was awesome, rock band. But that's just and I like the old show better. A long time ago, but I'm just old. I like the old things better a lot of times, but that's just me. But go ahead. What'd you have?
Okay, so I can actually answer your question in what I had. And what I had the Ottawa Apple, which is the drink at the popcorn stand, which is aptly named Canadian popcorn stand. I think it does not have an exciting name or anything like that. So it's just like maple popcorn, and we're like, is this a thing like in Canada? And I was like, it is absolutely not a thing in Canada. So I can talk about how I would fix it, but we also wanted to look around, but the the back area was all had boards up, so they were doing something back there, so we weren't able to go into the back
that's
area.
right. They were building that DVC lounge or the previous center,
yes.
lounge. Yes.
So we just got to see the front area, and then the rock work. I was like, those are not the Rocky Mountains, and they aren't even the Canadian Shield. So I don't know what we're doing here. We didn't go into the restaurant, the little kind of underground kind of wine whiskey.
Le Cellier.
Le Cellier. Yeah, we didn't go there. Next time we go, we definitely like to go there because it looks like they do have some really good like Canadian poutine and some really like good options and stuff like that for Canadians, like good steaks and stuff like that. I'm from Alberta.
Yeah, they have great steaks. I go there a few times. Yeah,
I'm from Alberta, and that's like our thing, right? Is Canadian Alberta beef. So yeah, it was like I was a little disappointed in the pavilion, I'll say. I loved the Canadian. I will say this: the gals who were working the popcorn stand in Canada, they were so great, and we just like had loud conversations about the weather. People around couldn't believe how cold we were talking about it getting. They were all from Montreal, and I think one of them was from Ottawa, so like much further east than where I am. And it was a nice conversation. Then they ended up giving us this maple popcorn for free, which I turned around and gave to someone from Orlando. So
enjoy this fake stuff that we never eat up.
Yes. Well, and again, going back to my good Orlando's have it, we just ran into these two girls. They'd gotten off of work from working at Universal and were just there to have popcorn and watch the fireworks.
It's not right. I know Jason. Well, I mean, we just talked to him last week on the show. You know, he lives in Celebration, so like he'll bounce over, and in 15 minutes he'll be in the Magic Kingdom. I mean, God bless him, but man, living the life. I'm telling you.
I will say two other things really quickly for your listeners. Is I did the Premier Pass on 2 different days, and I know it's a lot of money, but for someone, if you're traveling a great distance, you think you're only going to be there the one time. If you only have the one day, especially to do Magic Kingdom, I really do think the Premier Pass is like, it's expensive, and like you can determine its worth for yourself. We really benefited from it, and we really would like do it again. If we're only going to do Magic Kingdom on one day. If you're doing 2 days of Magic Kingdom, like you got little ones or something, you don't do it. You don't need it. Just do normal lightning lanes. If you really want to skip lines, which I generally I like to skip lines, and it's just what we don't really like. Like if we were with friends the other day and they were like, "Oh, were the lines really bad?" And we were like, we didn't really wait in any lines. Yeah. So I just, for your listeners, and we did Animal Kingdom because we were so wiped after that rain day that we didn't want to wake up early and go to Animal Kingdom super early. So we wanted to sleep in. So we're like, you know what? Let's splurge for the Premier Pass, and then we can show up late. We're not going to feel like we're behind, and we can get all the rides done that we want to get done. Because I really wanted to do Everest, and I loved it. I rode it twice. Sid did not do Everest. So that was not her jam. So yeah.
Nice. Good advice. Let me ask you too about this. Your restaurants, we haven't talked about California Grill or Raglan Road. So out of those two, which one would you recommend somebody check out?
California Grill for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a more pricey dinner and evening, but if you go, like, I like that you can go anytime and then still come back and watch the fireworks from the patio if you want to. I think that's a really good idea. We actually showed up. Our time was at 7:45, and we had the fireworks were at 8. So we literally showed up, ordered a drink, went out on the patio, watched the fireworks, and came back, and then sat down and had dinner. And it was a really, really great experience. It's a nicer restaurant. Raglan Road, really rich food. The ambiance is cool. Like the dancers are amazing. It's super fun in there. Not much for your allergy friendly or allergy people. Like that was a big thing for us. It's like we really wanted to just find places that are going to be can trust that what we're going to get. And generally we were really satisfied more so at the sit down restaurants than any of the quick service. I think people knock Pinocchio Village House, but it actually had like we call them Sydney safe pizza there. Mm-hmm. And she was able to have a pizza, and it was her birthday that day. So for her to have a pizza on her birthday was like a big deal because it's so hard for her to find pizza that she can have. it tasted really bad to me. But she
Hey, I like the chicken parm sandwich there, to be honest. And I just,
okay.
that's, you know what, too? I know people dog on that place too, but that little restaurant reminds me of Disneyland. It
Yeah,
reminds me of Red Rose Tavern out at Disneyland. Because you can
yeah,
look out on Small World. I don't know. I'm not as down on it as everybody else is, but I'm
yeah.
also a simpleton when it comes to food. So
And not trying to be down on it at all. Everything was good. It's just like she was eating a very specific type of pizza that I would not necessarily call pizza, because it's gluten-free, no
hey,
cheese.
if
Like,
she's
yeah,
happy and it was her birthday, win-win.
hands off that one. I'm just letting that one be for sure. Yeah.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
the one thing I wanted to ask you, is we're getting kind of up on it here on the time, but this is the one thing I've been dying to ask you about. You guys went off property and did this swamp boat tour or something. One of those was it an airboat? One of those.
Yeah.
So I obviously you see the signs, because I used to drive all the time. So I was scared to death to fly forever, and so I'd be driving down and you see the signs as you hit Georgia and Florida to do these things. And I was always like, man, someday I'm going to do that. And when you watch, ESPN or, late at night or whenever you see commercials for shows doing this. So tell us, what's it all about?
Okay.
And how'd you decide to do that? I mean,
Okay.
that's an excursion.
Not only do I love art, I also love animals. And I come from Canada. I've never seen an alligator in the wild. I know people who go to Florida, like, I've seen them, you see them here, there, wherever. I've never seen an alligator in the wild. So while I was there, I was like, I want to see a gator in the wild. That was high priority for me. And because I can go to Gatorland or whatever, but I was like, no, I don't want to see a gator who's in captivity. I want to see a gator living their best life. Okay. And so we looked around and I found this place called Spirit of the Swamp. So shout out to Spirit of the Swamp. It is a small boat. Oh, so it is a small boat. You can get on ones that are like these big, like 20 persons one. There were 5 of us on the boat. So it's 2 seats, me and Sid were in the front, and then a mom, a dad, and their young one in the back seats behind us. And you put on big headphones so you can talk to each other. And the driver takes you out and he shows you around the lake. I forget the name of the lake off the top of my head. It has a name I can't pronounce because all the lakes have
like a Native American name.
Yeah. I think they're indigenous names. Yeah. So I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But it was so stunning and beautiful. It was like a clear, gorgeous day, juxtaposed with the rainy day we had the next day at Hollywood Studios. This clear, gorgeous day. And yeah, we went out and saw some gators and like turtles, bald eagles. Really, really cool, really fun. You get the air in your face. You just it was a chance for us to see a bit of, we saw a bit of Kissimmee. I got to drive on the Florida Turnpike, which I would never want to do again.
Love that. I mean, was he because I've seen all kinds of videos of these things. Was he busting it out there? Was he going slow? I mean, was it kind of?
So on the open parts of the water, we're going fast. But when we're looking for gators, you're going slow, right? When you're looking for gators, like I'm some sort of hunter or something like that. When you're searching for gators, you always got to go slow. But no, yeah. So, he knew the parts, right? Like he goes and he does these tours every couple days, maybe even 5 days, 6 days a week, right? And so he knows the spots to go to find. And he's like, oh yeah, there's a big one that's usually out here. Let's see if we can find him. There's a couple females over here. We saw some babies and stuff like that he'd seen earlier in the day, so he knew where they were. And so he just kind of trucked around, and then he did go out on some more open areas. So fan boats only need about 1 inch of water to actually do their thing. They don't need a lot of water. So there's a lot of farmland out there. So he went out onto what I thought was just grass, and we're just ripping around out there. And we totally started to run out of water at one point. And he was and I could even hear him be like, okay, so we're going to try and fight, because he wanted to do some, we're going fast, doing some slides and stuff like that. And it was totally safe. He's really good at what he's doing.
We can have to push this thing. Is everybody get out, push to the next body of water?
Totally. And I even said, I was like, if we stop, do you want us to push? And he's like, no, we get someone to come help us. And I was like, in my head, I was like, no, they don't have to come help. I'll get out. I don't care. Whatever, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it was really cool. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend Spirit of the Swamp. Shout out to Kevin, who was our guide while we were there. Super gentle, great with the young kid. The kid, he's asking kid questions, and Kevin was just like so kind and so patient, and and then I'd ask my questions about like evolution and adaptation and stuff, and he's like able to talk about like the more high-end aspects of these animals and stuff, and it was just like really, really cool, really great. And definitely I made the joke, I'm not going to knock it, I'm just going to say this once, I wanted to see Florida, but not too much of Florida.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, you want to see Florida, but not in the boat with you. I mean,
yes.
I want to see a gator kind of up close, but
yeah, at one point, like 4 or 5 feet away from an alligator, like it was so cool. And they're just sunning themselves, like they're lazy, right? They're just chilling.
They're lazy till they're not.
Yeah, until they decide that they want to eat, and then they're going after it. But hey,
but I love that. And when I saw that, I want to bring that up because, trust me, I've done almost 2,800 podcasts about going to Walt Disney World, Walt Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, so forth. I love it. Like, this is everything that I love. But I think that when I saw this, what a great kind of yin and yang, right? You get to see the make-believe, the fantasy, the what we want, the ideal version of things when you go to Walt Disney World, all these, made up lands and so forth. But then you got to go out for a little while and see nature's beauty, right? I mean, this is what Florida has been for centuries, the basically, the swamplands, the Everglades, kind of, the swamps and stuff like that, and the animals that have been there. So it kind of makes you appreciate both ends of the spectrum there. I love that kind of yin and yang experience.
It was really important to me, right? Like, I mean, I don't know when we'll be back, maybe 3-4 years. Like, we are going to go back. We do want to go back. I have a niece and a future niece or nephew, and like I want to bring them there, when they're a little bit taller and a little bit older. But like we'll be back, and I think for me, seeing these places as much as I can is really important. Like, I love the Disney bubble, I love my Disney hotel, I love all that stuff, but I also want to see a bit of the place, and I want to see other parts of the world. And by that, I don't just mean the World Showcase, although that is a great way to experience other cultures and stuff. But it's not the same as like going out to Kissimmee and taking a drive and seeing where some homes are and seeing the difference between people living it up and people, not so living it up. So that's important to me, to understand the world and understand the natural world and the human world too.
100% agree. We'll say I've got to wrap, but hey, I appreciate your time here, and thanks for making this week start the right way, man. What a great trip report, and hope we can catch up sometime in the parks. I'd love to hang out with you sometime.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll meet on Main Street and have an ice cream or a drink or something like that.
Absolutely. Nothing would be better. All right. Don't forget, everybody, our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, even Adventures by Disney Vacation for no additional cost to you. So check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make the show possible. So thank you so very much to each and every one of you who supports us over there. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd sure love to have you at patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Don't forget, you can follow me on the social media at Be Our Guest Mike. That would be on Instagram, x.com, and Threads. And we'll have a live call-in show this Sunday night. Yes, we are both going to be back Sunday night. Scott will be with me. So join us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or Twitch at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. The phone lines will be open. Let's talk Sunday night. And finally, join us in the clubhouse. Free for everybody. It's our Discord server. It's like a live chat / message board. I mean, we have topics for everything. It is so much fun. You need to be there. Again, free for everybody. Drop in. beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. We'll be waiting for you. All right, we're going to jump out of here, and we'll be back again on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. You have a question? Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. You'll be on the show. All right, so for Taylor up in Canada, Mike here in Missouri, you guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. We lost one of the Facebook feeds in the middle of the show. I don't know what happened.
Oh, no.
This never happened before.
Wow.
Having
It's
trouble
wonky internet things too, because we were dropping in and out of each other a little bit today too. So
Yeah, I don't know what's going on because it was Instagram earlier today. I mean, I wasn't streaming, but it told me Instagram was having trouble. I think it must be a Facebook issue. Huh. I mean, the Facebook, like, so I was, because we can stream to like 6 different locations. And so I was streaming to my personal Facebook, but the Facebook stream to the podcast feed was stayed up, which is good because that's the one that has 11,000. Mine doesn't have as many, so that's good. We're good. We're good.
Right on.
I appreciate it, bud. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. It was great to finally meet you and chat with you a little bit. And I'll keep listening and stay in touch, man.
I appreciate you too. It's great to meet you. And I love your setup there, man, with the artwork behind you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I was going to make the joke when you were talking about how no one appreciates your studio. I was like, yeah, my friends come over and they don't say anything about my retro star tours and Haunted Mansion. And I got a Space Mountain. And then back here is my Sam McKim map of Disneyland from the 50th anniversary. So
see, I don't know if you can see. Hang on, no, that's the wrong way. Hang on. You appreciate this. I should do this, but I will. Let's see. So that picture. That's from Star Wars Weekends 2007.
Cool.
Thing is the bomb. I love it.
That's neat.
My first anniversary. Because it was like paper. I guess that was like the gift or something. No, I'll never get it straight.
My prized possession, it's too far away to look at, is I have a complete set of the Disney World 50th anniversary McDonald's toys, which were not available in Canada.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, I have some of those. Like we have like an I-beam in the storage room where my treadmill is, and I have like Goofy driving the train or something. And, the Mission Space.
I've got the full set, not available in Canada. Very proud.
Nice. Yeah, Scott bought the whole set. I didn't know. Like, Scott went into a McDonald's and just asked the lady, "Can I buy the whole set?" She said, "Sure." I was like, "Dude, I was going through the drive-through and buying like 2 Happy Meals a day and like, getting duplicates. I was playing by the rules." That sucker went in there and just like bought like the whole set because he goes home, makes an Instagram video with like a train, all of them. I'm like, "How'd you get that? How'd you get every one of them?" He's like, "I just went in and bought them." I'm like, here I am eating all these chicken nuggets, like, and getting dupes. Them all. He still does. Yeah, that's super cool.
So great.
Yeah. Cool, I'm gonna edit this thing up and get it out there. So it'll be up on the 14th.
Sounds great, man. Thanks so much again. Really appreciate all your work and everything.
Hey, thank you. That's why the show's awesome. Appreciate you. All right, take care.
Man.
Bye.
Bye.